All right. So different type of episode today, but I think you guys are going to want to stay till the end. Maybe even listen twice to this one because there's going to be some stuff that you haven't heard here before. And as I was kind of preparing the intro, I wrote it a few different times. And what I wanted to do was go back to our roots, right? When we first started this podcast, what were our values? What's our mission? And that's just truth. That's honesty. There's always two sides to a story. And we wanted to be that outlet for the hobby to come on and share that story with our community. And I think the people that have been with us and listeners with us from day one know that's the case. They know we've brought on a variety of guests. We held their feet to the fire oftentimes. Cage does that a little bit better than I do. And they ask them the tough questions, not because, we want to throw people under the bus. We want to provide insight into the hobby. We want people to know the truth and get the real facts, not the speculation that you hear in the comments, in the DMs, and in the underbelly of the hobby. So we all know there's been a falling out between PWCC and eBay. This is PWCC's first kind of public discussion with you guys. And I'm really lucky to have Jesse Craig here because he's going to share some things that I think you guys haven't necessarily heard. And I think you're going to want to hear. And I'm really excited for this interview to shed a little bit of light on how PWCC took this. Were they caught off guard? Did eBay give them a heads up? And a lot of the questions that you guys have sent us that I hope you're able to get answered on the show today. So
is the FBI in Oregon as we speak knocking on the door of the vault? Those kind of questions.
Right.
The important stuff.
So that's actually a great place to start, Cage, because before we get into, how did eBay do this? Why did they do this? Is there any truth? I always want to go to the customers, right? The customers of PWCC, when they saw this news, they have millions of dollars of cards in their vault. Sure. So one, Jesse, we just had you on last week, but I want to welcome you back to the show. And I want to ask you, could you share a little bit with the customers of PWCC? There's so many rumors going on about their cards in the vault and if they're safe. Mm-hmm. Could you share some stuff about that, please?
Sure. So the rumorville runs rampant, right? Like the internet. I've heard some actually pretty entertaining ones, to be honest with you. But no, assets are 1,000% safe in the vault. And if you hear otherwise, I mean, where's your source coming from? Is it a competitor? Is it someone that heard it from somebody else? So like times like this, right? People smell blood and they're going to say what they need to say to get business. And that's what you're seeing. 1,000%. We don't own any assets. We have no rights to any assets, right? We don't. And so God forbid something happened, which it won't, but God forbid something happened. We have no rights to any assets. They're not ours. And so nothing can happen to them. And I've heard people say, well, if you guys go bankrupt or if this happens or that happens, that, what happens to my assets? And it's like, your assets are 1,000% safe. We have no legal right to them. Nobody has a legal right to them except for you. And the only way that your asset could actually be in trouble is if you personally have like a divorce or a lawsuit against yourself or whatever it may be that would affect your individual assets in the vault if they were on record with you for some reason. So that's the only way your assets are ever in trouble, is individually, not from a company perspective. So, and we've even structured, because God forbid, right? God forbid, like PWCC Marketplace, our auction site, God forbid that something ever happened where we went out of business because something happened, right? Well, the vault is actually a separate entity. It's a completely separate entity, so it's unaffected by anything. And that's to protect everyone's assets for any reason. So there's no concern. There's no concern at all about your assets and them having any risk whatsoever. And that's
I want to ask you, so the news came out on Tuesday. Did eBay give you guys a heads up? Was there any warning? Was there anything, behind the scenes where they were, let's figure this out? Here's the evidence that we saw. Right. Did you guys see this from your end as well? Could you talk to us a little bit before the announcement was made? Did eBay reach out to you guys at all?
No, they didn't. We had 24 hours heads up that this was potentially going to happen. And then the next day we got they had to send us an official email, but they had a call with us and they told us this was going to potentially happen, and we're baffled. And then the email came out and we were really, there's a range of emotions that kind of, flowed through me, at least when that email came out from over the last few days.
Well, let's get to the email in a second. Let's go 24 hours back, right? Because I got to walk you through it, right? Because now you've dropped this nugget, it's new facts for our audience, right? So you get this phone call. In this phone call, eBay lays out the evidence that they have against you?
No.
eBay tells you
they still
exactly who
haven't.
the bad actor was?
No.
eBay tells you what the shill bidding was?
No.
eBay tells you who the associate
No, they haven't told us anything.
PWCC was?
They haven't told us
so
anything.
what did they say in the 24-hour notice? They called you and they say within 24 hours, we're going to drop a bomb on you, and then they hang the phone up?
They basically said that we're going to cut ties with you as a company, and we have to send you an official email before we can do that, right? Because this was like a Zoom call. And then we didn't know when that was going to come. We didn't know, we didn't have any evidence from them. We asked for it, they wouldn't provide it. So we were really disappointed in how they handled the whole situation, from that to the email to everything. The partnership we had with them lasted so many years, and there could have been a multitude of ways to approach this. Like, let's just say that by the way, we categorically deny any of that. We don't stand for shill bidding. And anybody that's done business with us in the past or present knows that. They know that. We have actually gone to great lengths to try to help eBay clean up their own act to help push the market forward. I mean, we've been maxed out, and not a lot of people know this, but you can only block 5,000 user IDs on eBay because there's a cap. There's a cap. And guess what? We have to do a revolving door from old people to release to get new people on, and eBay could never change their code. And so we have a list of over 20,000 eBay IDs that we've blocked in the past. I mean, literally, and that's how we do it. We have built API connections between our website and eBay to recognize when someone's trying to bid on their own card. And then they get a nasty gram from us. You can't do that or we're going to block you. You don't pay for items, you get blocked. And I think when you're seeing on the internet a lot of people supporting us, right? You're seeing people saying, oh, obviously there's the internet trolls and the people that are just jumping on the news, but the people that are supporting us, maybe they're people that have been blocked before. So they know that we don't stand for that stuff. It's just true.
It's funny.
We don't.
It's
we
funny.
don't.
Yeah. Who better to tell somebody that you've built a good jail than the inmates who try to escape it and can't?
That's right.
I get it.
That's right. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. So eBay gives you 24-hour notice, but no real notice. And then, but now to get back to where you were, the email comes out. Talk about what goes on within the confines of PWCC. What's the reaction to it and that kind of stuff.
Shock, anger. Disappointment. It runs the gambit. And then, me personally, it went from all those emotions to kind of scared, to be honest with you. We've been on eBay for so long. And so that's kind of a knee-jerk reaction. It's like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? First of all, we didn't deserve this. We didn't do this. So what the hell is going on? And then the more that it sunk in, taking phone calls, talking to clients, all that kind of stuff, there was a ton of support for people that actually do business with us and know how we operate. I'm telling you, the support from myself and my whole sales team, there's 10 of us. It was incredible to be frank with you. And then it turned into a little bit of excitement. It's like, wait a second, we've been beating our heads against the wall with eBay for so many years. They're a big company. It's hard for them, to be sensitive to eBay. It's hard for them to make changes. It is. They have old code. They have all these things, and it's not easy for eBay to make changes. It's easier for a smaller company like us to make changes, right? So now we have all these things built from a back-end perspective, from an accounting perspective, all these things that we've had to do double the work on to make work properly for our business, because we had to flow through eBay and their API connection and all these things. And now we can cut all that out. We can build our own software that we want to build it. We can do this, we can do that. Everything becomes easier. So it went from anger to kind of fear to now where we are is excitement. We're super, super excited for what we're going to be able to bring to the market that we love, that we've helped try to elevate, that we've tried to bring infrastructure to, new tools, education, all those things. So we're in a place of excitement right now, to be completely honest with you.
Let's talk about two things. So the Premier auction. So a rumor floating out there is the reason why eBay did this is because they saw that PWCC was launching their Premier auction next month, and they were worried that they're going to lose a sizable chunk of their trading card business. eBay is obviously huge, but PWCC, if you guys went on eBay the day after this all happened, you saw half the inventory was basically gone. Is there any truth to that rumor?
I can't it's speculation, right? We don't know. eBay hasn't told us anything, so we don't know. We did get eBay's blessing to launch the Premier auction when we did it back in May. So we vetted it with them. We told them we were going to do it because we all know that eBay is not a great place to sell higher end assets. There was extra tools that we wanted to implement into the auction and that eBay couldn't provide. They couldn't provide extended bidding. And we, because of our partnership with them, we expressed all this, and they gave us their good graces to go do it. And so, anything outside of that, if that's the reason they did it, that's just speculation. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, to be honest with you.
The second thing I want to ask, and I want to lead into it with my own personal experience, is how little I know about auctions actually. So we think of an auction as like kind of a blanket auction. There's one way to do things, but there's Dutch auctions, right? There's auctions when I bid on things on Panini's website, for example. It's not the next highest price. It's whatever price you choose, right?
Right.
There's so many different types of auctions. So I want to ask you this. So there's I guess it's a text message thread going around. Darren Ravel tweeted it. Could you share? That's the one thing that people kind of harp on right now. The people that are against.
For the shill bidding stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the origin of that, the messaging there. 3-4 lines of that.
Yeah. Well, that text message was from, I think, 2016. It's like 5 or 6 years old.
Right. So that's not breaking news. That's posted the way I read it. Was like, this is the basis of eBay's thing. No, so this is a 5-year-old text string.
No, that was old. From my understanding, it was taken out of context. Everybody can read it however they want, but that thing is old news. That surfaced in 2019. It surfaced again this year. It's just recycling old news, and it's just taken out of context.
It's definitely an interesting thing, man. So we'll go rumor mill, and you probably can't answer this, but I'd love to see what the story is anyway. But the rumor I hear is that this was retaliation by eBay. That eBay reached out, they tried to buy PWCC, and PWCC said hell no, and now this was what their reaction was. Any kind of comment on that?
We get we get offers from a lot of different companies. We're constantly talking to a lot of different corporations. So that's just, once again, that's just speculation. People are gonna, rumors, speculation. I heard that. What's one rumor I heard? I heard that Brent was in jail during the National, and that's why he wasn't there. It's just people are going to run the gambit with things, and they'll hear one thing from one guy, and maybe it's like through the grapevine, right? Like things get kind of turned and twisted, and the more people that talk about it, the more things get warped and emphasized. So no, I don't want to go down the speculation rabbit hole with eBay retaliating around anything. I don't think that's fair to anybody.
Okay, so go ahead, Andrew.
I don't know if we're at the stage, but I do want to talk about, what the future kind of holds for PWCC. I know this is very, very new. All this stuff just happened. But here we are Friday, end of the week. You got the news on Tuesday. You guys have a lot of customers. Like I would break up the category of the hobby in terms of how they view PWCC as, people that just were trolls that were ready to come out and comment on all your stuff, leave negative messages. You have people that are your customers, your 1,000 true fans that know what you stand for. And there are people like me, I've been openly, I wouldn't say critical, but I question, is the customer service there? Things like that, the people kind of on the fence. I think those are the three categories, Speak to, myself and your customers. The trolls are always going to be there. What's the future of PWCC? What were the discussions like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with the team?
Yeah, well, it's only 8:00 here right now, so we haven't had our Friday discussions yet. True. But it's like I told you guys, we went from this it's this level of emotions, and then once you get your head on straight, you have this level of excitement. So as you guys might have seen yesterday, we've already announced that the Vault Marketplace is coming back on our website on September 1st. So any cards that were in the Vault that were listed on eBay for buy now or best offer, they'll be available on our website. And so, we have 130,000 registered users. And we've been on eBay for years. So we've captured the majority, in my opinion, of that trading card landscape and those customers that buy and sell frequently on eBay. So we have an amazing, amazing head start as a company by going off independent. So we have that database of people. We have the Vault Marketplace going live on September 1st. We are our replacement for what was our scheduled monthly auction every month that was ran on eBay. That's going to be going live in October. We're shooting for October 1st. But it's going to be going live in October. And the premier auction is still running. The premier auction ends tomorrow, the one we have live right now. We got another one going live in September. All that stuff's on our own software. You just got to get pre-approved to bid because it's items, over 25K. But the future is bright. And now that we're off eBay as well, we can do whatever we want. payment options, payment plan, like all these
that's
things
the
that we
question,
can do.
Jesse, right? So the value to your users, right? So auction houses that are, they see the blood in the water on this, right? People are sending out emails. Hey, you send us something from a vault, and we're going to give you hammer price plus, right?
Yeah.
So talk
Way
to
to
me
kick
about
a guy
what you
while
can
he's
do,
down.
right?
Jesus.
Well, I mean, listen, this is what happens.
No, I'm not
I mean,
saying you.
guys
I'm not saying you.
You should expect it.
Yeah, totally.
I know what you mean, but even your competitors in the industry, I mean, I don't blame them for doing this, right? This is just what happens, right? Everybody's got to try to capture market share, but for you to maintain it, for you to retain that market share, is there? I mean, you've already had great rates compared to what eBay would charge anyway. Is there a way for you now, in order to retain customers, to draw new customers in, to use a different pricing model? You're going to basically be an auction house now.
Right.
Non-eBay auction house, be your own auction house. It seems to me the easiest way to retain customers and cards and assets and maybe bring more in is to buck the whole 20% buyer's premium thing and come in with something that's significantly more attractive than that. Is that something that potentially is in the works for people?
Yeah, we're talking about it. We're trying to figure out the fee structure right now. Obviously, it's a big topic because we're launching that September 1st, right? So we're not sure how we're going to do it. Now, the premier auction right now is buyer's premium, right? That's kind of the standard in the industry. Yep. So it's this idea. It's like, do we follow that, but then offer very, very aggressive, just like we did with the premier auction, right? Very aggressive rates, and we lay them out like we always do. We don't, we're not going to go out there and wheel and deal with guys and say, oh, you get 0% consignment fee, and then we make 20% on BP. So we're going to be very straightforward about what we do. And we might stick with the BP model for our vault marketplace and for our monthly auction, but the rates will be aggressive. We're going to come out; they're going to be the same that it was on eBay or less, and the payment options are going to be much more attractive too because we have full control over that.
Right. So everything from crypto to you name it, the whole deal.
Everything.
What I would love, Jesse, and just I'm not in PWCC, but if I were there, I would say most auction houses are looking to take care of their consigners to get in the assets, and they're concerned about doing hammer plus 5, hammer plus 10. Well, why not say we're going to do that, but we're also going to take the buyer's premium down to 12% instead of 20% like everybody else, or 15% or something like that. Like, take care of the buyers too.
Right. Well, it's interesting because the buyer's premium, it's just a calculation, right? When you're bidding, you just need to know, like, hey, if I pay if I bid 1,000 here, I'm going to pay 1,200. So you're willing to pay 1,200. So to be honest with you, in my opinion, the buyer's premium is just math. I mean, that's whether it's 112 or 120 or 150. You as the buyer, when you're bidding, you know what you're going to end up paying. So it's kind of all relative. So if you're going to pay 1,200 through an auction house, if you're willing to pay 1,200, 1,000 with a 20% BP, you're probably willing to pay 1,200 on eBay, right? It's kind of all relative, in my opinion.
If you could if you could get the whole hobby in a room, okay, hobby, what would you guys share with them? What would you share with the community from a PWCC standpoint on what's happened this week and how you guys have tried to solve this problem? Could you share that?
You mean solve the problem since it's happened, or how we try? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we've had a lot of meetings. This, categorically changes our business and our infrastructure, from our operations to our financing to account. Everything, right? This change because our business model is based around the majority of our assets being sold on eBay. So we've had a lot of internal discussions about how this changes things for us. But it opens the door for so much more freedom for us as a company and for us to build software and an auction platform that we're proud of. You guys have seen what's happened with the Premier Auction. It wasn't perfect the first time it came out, and then we made some tweaks to it, and then everybody loved it the second auction, right? And that's what we're doing with our listen. We're gonna build things that people love. We're gonna listen to what they say. We're gonna take their feedback, and we're gonna adjust. And that's what we do. That's what we do as a company. Is we try to listen. Like Andrew, I know that you've had your problems, and we've taken those in, and we've tried to make changes, right? And that's what we always try to do, is listen.
Absolutely. One of the ones was a friend reached out to me. He was having some issues.
Question, Andrew, if I'm allowed. I know I'm on.
Please.
We lost you. What was it?
We're 20 minutes in. I got to do it, right? So, and Jesse, you can ask it. You can not answer it. I feel like I have a delay here, but I got to ask the question, right? So if we're able to go through the past, right? We're able to go through PWCC, the history of PWCC. There are plenty of people listening to this saying, you got to ask, Cage, you got to do this, right? So look at the camera, right? And talk to the people you are trying to woo, the people you are trying to say, we don't really need eBay, and the people who you want to do business with going forward, and answer the question they have, which is, we've all heard sayings, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, right? That where there's smoke, there's fire. There's recidivist behavior out there, right? And if I were to lay out the path here, and again, not a gotcha, I really do. I'm sure you guys have a talking point for this. I'm sure you have an answer. But why would someone do business with PWCC going forward when the trail of breadcrumbs is the blowout detectives who did all of the trimming and restoring of cards and send your cards back, FBI investigation. You have, shill bidding, alleged allegations, you name it, the whole deal. And now you have eBay coming out and basically saying, we're cutting ties with you guys because an associate did something. We none of us really know exactly why they cut ties. But so look, it's business, right? And you're a big business. But how do you answer that? Because believe it or not, that's the biggest question that people have, right? People want to do business with you, but they read these things. It's not exactly a ton of public information. It's a lot more rumor and innuendo. But that has been the last couple of years for PWCC. So when you're writing the next chapter, how do you convince somebody to actually read it?
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. I think that our market has been kind of the wild, wild west for a long time. I think that a lot of the work that was done by the people detecting alteration and all those kind of things, it was really good for the market. It cleaned up a lot of people's acts across the board in the industry. And it needed to happen to really elevate us to the next level, right? So look, I came to work at PWCC. I know for a fact, I can't speak to the entire history of the company, right? Because I haven't been there for forever. I've been there almost 3 years now. Since I've been there, it is the most above board company that you can imagine. And we've tried to do so much to help take eBay and take it to the next level, give them suggestions on how to clean up, bidding patterns, buyers, all these different things, right? And it's just difficult because of how big they are for them to move that needle. But internally, we built things to help prevent, fraudulent activity happening, this and that. Unpaids happen. We don't put unpaid sales out there. We don't put it on our marketplace, right? If something doesn't get paid for, it doesn't show up. And we know unpaids are a problem. We know that for sure. And that's why we're excited. Now we can control everything, right? So now if something doesn't get paid, that's on us. We can't blame eBay. We can't blame anybody else but us. We allowed that user into our website to bid on an item, and that's on us. So we have supported this market. I mean, look, we put our money where our mouth was 3.5 years ago and built a freaking vault, right? Like we're building infrastructure. We care about the market. We care about the industry. We want to see it grow. We want to see it sustainably grow. And so why would we go about doing anything to harm that? We do enough business where it is like shill. We don't need to shill bid. We don't have time to shill bid. There's no point to do it. And on eBay, I mean, look, you can go into what the definition of shill bidding even is, and it's subjective, right? But Bill Mastro got in trouble for knowing what a high bid was and bidding it up to what that high bid was. We're on third-party software. We have no clue. We don't have exposure to any of that. As a seller on eBay, you guys know, you don't know what the high bids are. You have no idea. So it's we operate under extreme openness and honesty. If you guys have dealt with anybody on my sales team, that's what I've relayed to them. You guys know my reputation in the industry.
You do.
That's how I operate. And we all have a reputation, especially as a sales guy out here and talking to you. Why would I put my name behind a company that I thought was doing anything fraudulent? My reputation is everything to me. Why would I do that? I wouldn't.
That's right. And I do know your sales guys pretty well. And I know, Cage, you are on a little bit of a lag. Sorry about that, guys. I'll say I know the two sales guys, Eric Myers, Brock, both stand-up guys, both awesome guys in the hobby. Tough question. Cage will just join us. He left because he's a little glitchy. He's going to come right back in, guys. Another tough question. I raise my hand from the audience. We're at this convention. I say, Jesse, it's not enough that you guys don't shill bid. A $150 million company, you guys now have a responsibility to stop shill bidding. Mm-hmm. Could you answer that, please?
Yeah, totally. Well, that's what I was saying about now we have full control, right? So now we can see there's algorithms you can write to detect bidding patterns that aren't accurate, to flag things. I mean, there's a multitude of things that we can do as a company to try to help prevent this stuff, right? And look, to be honest, like I said, the definition of shill bidding is kind of vague. So it's more, I think what people are talking about is more like manipulation, right? But those kind of things aren't as easy to detect, but we can still put in processes and procedures to try to help prevent it. And that's what we've done on eBay with back-end API stuff, flagging accounts, doing all these kind of things. We've tried to prevent that stuff. Granted, we sell 40,000 cards, so the connection with eBay was more difficult to try to 40,000 cards a month, right? So the connection with eBay was more difficult to try to get that information. But now we control it all. We can do all of it on our own software. We can write our own algorithms. We can pre-approve everybody, and it's on us. It's completely on us. So if people want to call shill bidding in months once we're up and running, then and it's true, and you have proof that it's true. Great, that's fine. Then tell us, we're going to fix it. We don't want that. It doesn't do the market any good. When I talk about a healthy, sustainable market, like when people run cards up, and then they come crashing back down, that doesn't do anybody any good. If cards get blown up and they don't get paid for, that doesn't do us any good. We like an idiot to our consignor. We don't want that. That's what people need to realize. It doesn't do us any good. We're not short-term guys. We're not trying to make a quick buck. We're in this for the long haul. And I think that the proof of all the tools we built, building the vault, building all these things should prove to the fact that as a company, that's what we're about. We're a long-term relationship company. We're in it for the long haul, and doing these kind of shilling things, that's all short-term, and that's not us at all.
Cage, I'm going to turn it over to you.
So
I just got to ask this one more question. I'm sorry, Cage. It's just, I know our audience is going to get on me if I don't ask this. And I love you guys. So I want to bring you guys the information that you guys probably want. Why does PWCC's sales, why are they always, higher than other consigners? Could you talk about that?
Sure. I think it's a few reasons. One, we're a proven entity on eBay. You're buying from a business and not a regular Joe. You have different payment options that we offer, right? So you have on account funds, you can take vault loans. I mean, there's all these different ways that as a company, we allow you to pay. So that greases the tracks a little bit to get more money. Our high-res images, they give you more visibility to what the asset actually looks like. So you know what you're buying for sure. And then it's the professionalism. Things are packed properly, they're shipped properly, they're insured properly, and you're not just getting some random guy that is sending you a package. Now, some people ship great that are random guys on eBay, but the majority of people aren't professional shippers, and we have a professional logistics team that does all that. And then to add on to that, we ship internationally as well, and we handle all of that for people. And international is a big draw, so that can also grease the tracks a little bit to get more dollars. So I think all those factors combined kind of get you to where, we see on average 5 or 10% higher than the majority of cards on eBay.
Yeah, that's understandable to me for a bunch of reasons. You mentioned them all. But am I laggy, Andrew, still?
I think you're okay. Yeah.
No? Okay, good. So, I could just tell you from my own experience, right? People who sell with you guys have money on account that they will use to buy stuff going forward. Like, let's just say hypothetically, I have $20,000 sitting with PWCC because of stuff that I sold in the last couple of auctions. If I find a $20,000 card that's in another auction house or opposed to yours, I might buy it for a little more money because my money's already sitting there to use on your stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just one little thing. So couple things to go with. Number one, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, you commented about how you were on third-party software, so you can't see the max bid, right? Since we're talking about shill bidding, and so we're talking about, the sort of the protections that are there. One of the things that is going to be taken away from you is you're no longer going to be on third-party software.
Yep.
And eBay, who was protecting people from you seeing the high bid, now it's going to be your own internal software. Will you be building in safeguards so that you still don't see what that high bid is?
100%. We're actually going to have a company verify, a tech company verify that we have no visibility to any of those high bids. We don't want to see them. We don't need to see them. I can only imagine as an auction house that had access to that. Who knows, right? Subconsciously, maybe it's tempting to tell someone about it or do this or do that, right? We don't even want access to it. We don't even want to see it. So we're going to have a third-party software company verify that we have no visibility whatsoever to any ceiling bids that are put in on monthly auction, premier auction. And it's already the case on the premier auction. We can't see any of that. We can't. We've had a tech company do that, and they've put restrictions in place where on our website, we have no visibility to any high bids whatsoever. We know what the current bid is, and that's it. That's going to be the same for our monthly auction.
Okay. To the folks who have items in the vault still, what would you say to them about the solvency of PWCC, about the the plan, the roadmap going forward? to the people who are sitting there, thinking about moving their assets to somewhere else, especially because they're now being inundated on social media and in their own email inboxes, about all the other options that are out there for them.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to hold a gun to anybody's head. They're your assets. You can do whatever you want with them, right? If you want to remove them from the vault, that's totally fine. We understand. We'll take care of you. We'll do that. But your assets are 1,000% safe. There's zero risk. I repeat, zero risk. And anybody that's telling you otherwise is uneducated. Now, I want to be firm on that because it's upsetting me that these rumors are out there. Zero risk. Zero. And that's it.
Well, listen,
anything else it is. Go ahead.
Listen, you talked about your sales team, right? So I'll ask it. Maybe you can share it, maybe you won't. So what struck me about the email, and look, past is past. The email that we're dealing with right now, it talks about people associated with PWCC, not PWCC employees, not PWCC, individuals, not PWCC as a company. So it leaves it very vague and very broad. But I would imagine, if you're allowed to share, that when somebody comes to work at PWCC, they probably have to sign something that says they can't do this, that they're not going to shill bid, you name it. If you're able to, can you share what the consequences are to somebody who that happens to? Like if you catch somebody, what happens?
Yeah, well, it's like any business, right? You get disciplined if that happens. But yes, all our sales guys and all of our employees are not allowed to bid in our auctions. That's a rule we have as a company. That's a rule we have as a company.
You cannot bid.
You are not allowed to bid on PWCC items at auction. If you want to buy other cards in the market, that's fine. I do caution my sales guys. It's like, look, we have a responsibility. If you're giving guys investment advice, and I've told you guys this before, it's a conflict of interest. If you're giving guys investment advice, if you own those assets. So if you do own assets, that's fine, but you need to disclose to your clients that you're talking to what you own. So if you are biased, that they know that, right? Like if you're a big LeBron collector, like you talk about Brock's a big LeBron guy, but everybody knows Brock's a big LeBron guy, right? So if he's talking to guys about LeBron, they know that Brock's a big LeBron guy. And I love Brock, and Brock would never do anything nefarious whatsoever. But these are conversations that we have before they're even hired. They have to sign documents according to this. They sign NDAs. They sign all these things, right? And they're not allowed to bid on our items in PWCC.
So, that's an important thing, right? Because, the gloss over of the email is that, hey, PWCC is out there shill bidding. But when somebody works for PWCC, they are actually forbidden from bidding. Now, I'm sure there's ways around it. I'm sure there's people listening to have their wife do it, their cousin do it, their neighbor do it. They tell their friend, their neighbor, their enemy to bid for them.
Right.
It's kind of the way things roll.
But that's why when that email came out from PWCC or from eBay, we're like, well, show us the evidence. Like what? Like let us investigate this. Let us look into it. What are you even talking about? And we've got nothing. Nothing.
Okay. Well, we don't know if that comes out. We all hope it does. If for no other reason than to give you guys an opportunity to answer the allegations and let the community know. The unfortunate part is when it's left vague like that, everybody's allowed to kind of wonder and come up with their own fill in the blank sort of imagination, run wild. I think it speaks volumes that you come on and address it head on. So we thank you for doing that. Obviously, we want to be respectful of your time. I think you've made your pitch, your message. It's anything final you'd want to say to anybody out there to kind of I don't want to say sales pitch for PWCC, but everybody else who is trying to take market share from you is making their pitch as to why they should get your assets, why they should get the business that is currently with you. Yeah. So what do you say to people to stay, right? That you're developing, competitive stuff, that the online, auction that you guys are going to be doing is going to be superior. Have you built a website that might not crash?
We don't need to get into that, but our website's been fine. Our premier auction hasn't any problems. So look, we are, as a company, we've talked about this even in this episode. We keep building tools, infrastructure, and we try to push this market forward. And we say we're going to do something, and we do it, right? We get things done quickly. We try to do it the right way. And if you're hearing rumors, and there's speculation, just think about where the source is of that said rumor or that speculation. Who's it coming from? Do they have a benefit to say something negative about PWCC? And maybe they do have a benefit, and maybe they don't. Maybe it's just somebody that believes something nefarious happened. Okay, I get it. But look, I'm telling you adamantly that we did not engage in any shill bidding whatsoever. We do not condone that. We've tried to put a bunch of processes and procedures in place to prevent that kind of stuff from happening. We've gone above and beyond to try to do that on eBay software. So the fact that that came out as the allegation against us, it was baffling. And I've said it before, but it shocked us. So I want to be clear on that. Assets in the vault, 1000% completely safe, totally fine. Anybody call us if they have any questions. We have a lot of things on the plate moving forward. We're really excited as a company to be able to build stuff on our own. We already announced that we're launching that vault marketplace. It's coming in 10 days or so, September 1st. So watch out for that. But if you have assets in the vault, only in 10 days, you can list them for buy now, best offer. And then about a month later, we're going to come out with our monthly auction. Premier auction's live right now. Our next one's going to launch in a couple weeks. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of things to change from a back-end perspective as a company, right? To adjust to the non-eBay life. But we're excited about all of it. And another thing to mention is, like, look, we're open to talk to people about whatever they need, whatever they want. And if somebody isn't comfortable with the situation, just give us a call and talk to us as people. Don't read something on the internet. Don't do this. Don't do that. Give us a shout. Talk to my sales team. Talk to me. Talk to our customer service. Let us address whatever your issue is. And if you're not happy, you're not happy. That's fine. But we don't hold a gun to anybody's head.
Could you tell people where to reach you guys?
Yeah, maybe you can put a phone number. Maybe we'll post it for you, because I don't think there's a phone number on the site. Maybe you guys can add one.
We got rid of the phone number back in the day.
You might want to put it back up.
We might. But we took it down because we just got so many phone calls about kind of little simple things that can be handled via chat, and it just kind of sucks the life out of our team. And people love to talk about cards, and it's kind of hard to get them off the phone. But it's true. But yeah, look, we're here. If anybody needs anything, give us a shout. We're open.
I gotta say thank you to our audience. So, why we're so fortunate to get guests. They come on at times like this. They come on to share, new developments, new projects, new businesses. It's because you guys out there, because people know that our audience is able to think for themselves. From day one, we always said we want to teach a man to fish versus feed our community fish. And I think that's why we've been able to cultivate such an passionate audience, yet people that stand on their own 2 feet, they have their own brain, they think for themselves. So I got to thank you guys, because we've grown a lot recently, and we get a lot of guests that I could have never imagined that they would come on and trust us and trust our audience to listen. I'll tell you guys, we'll wrap with this. We wanted to get into the fanatics thing, but I don't think it's worthwhile to do that today. Be wary, be very wary, because when people say something like this, everybody out there knows blank and blank we're doing something wrong. And when you push back and you ask, where's there any proof of that ever happening? And there's no response. That always scared me. I've come from a different government, a different place where it was communism, where that kind of stuff was rampant, when there was accusations without proof. And I've seen how that kills families, that kills businesses, and that kills communities. When there's accusations without proof, everybody knows X, but there's no validity to it. There's no proof, there's no evidence. Be very wary of that. That's my one ask from our audience as you guys go back and re-listen to this. Thank you, LukaNation. Jesse, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.